This here is what I like to call my ever expanding bookshelf, because it's easily it's overflowing. It's got way too many books. But yet, even though it's full, I keep adding books to it. And Bruce Lee's been a guy I've always looked up to in my life, and there's a quote from him that I want to share with you guys. "Even today, I dare not say that I have reached a state of achievement. I am still learning, for learning is boundless." And what he means by that is, you can never say that you've learned or mastered something. And the same goes with languages. You can never say you've learned or completely mastered a language, because you can't even say that about your own native language, because you're always going to be learning new words and new things, even about your own language. My bookshelf, it shows, a bookshelf can only hold so many books before it overflows. But your brain, the human brain, can hold infinite amounts of knowledge. It doesn't overflow like a bookshelf. You can constantly put information in your brain. Like all these books that I got a bunch of phrase books and culture books. This top shelf is all my language and culture stuff. Well, I have a random video game, but mostly language and culture stuff. And all this knowledge can be put in your brain, and that's the one thing I really like about language learning and the human brain, is you can always learn new things. There's always more to be found. Our brains can hold as much knowledge as we put in our brain. With language learning, that's an important thing to know, because especially if you go into learning many different languages, you get a lot of new information put in your brain. And you can continually learn new things. I mean, books, they come and go. Not all of them are kept throughout history. But people learn from these books, and they leave their imprint on other people. And that's the important thing. I mean, you can never have enough language resources. They're probably, most important thing is like books and the internet. They're going to be your two biggest resources. You can never have too many books. I think books are a wonderful investment, because you can buy a book, maybe not read it right away, but maybe a couple years later, you might pick that book up and learn something new from it. I got a couple Kulik Will books back here. Let's see if I can move these ones out of the way. This book's pretty cool if you learn Chinese. The Eater's Guide to Chinese Characters. That's a good one. Peter Brown sent me this book. I don't know, you probably know his channel, Alcontre. Important thing for language learning and just learning about things, period, is books. Books, books, books. You never have too many books. Let's see. I found this book not too long ago. It's an older one, and it's like a bilingual book. Short stories in Spanish, and I got it for free. So I was like, hey, you can't beat that. And eventually when I learn Spanish, I can use this book. So even though my bookshelf overflows, you know, my brain never overflows. This bookshelf may have too many books that it can handle, but my brain can never have too much information. See, the thing I want to do with my life is I want to travel the world and seek as much information as I can, even if it takes me all the way to China. I always wanted to do that since I was young. And this bookshelf is like my imaginary travels. Hopefully one day I can actually go to these countries and learn about them. There's Voltaire, Frederick the Great, ancient China, Norse kings. Can never have too many books. Never ever can you have too many resources. Even if you got a couple bad resources, there's still resources and you can still probably get something out of them anyways. And one other thing too that I like to do with my books is if I have a friend or somebody I know that's interested in a certain subject that I have a book about. Like I had a friend once who wanted to learn French, so I let him borrow all my French books. I haven't even really learned very much French yet. I've bought them and taken a look at them, and I figure, you know, I'll use them eventually. But right now, I want to learn other languages. So I said, hey, borrow my French books. You can use them. I've let people borrow my books about German, that kind of stuff. And I think everyone should do that. If you know someone who's truly motivated and you're not using these books, let somebody else use them. Spread knowledge. Knowledge is the most important thing, I think. It's more important than wealth. True gold is the gold you have in your brain. The knowledge you have accumulated over your lifetime. Your wisdom. And then when you get old, you can tell great, wonderful stories.